So, yeah, thank you.
All right, with that, we have no other speaker cards. No one on the queue. Will go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Great, thank you very much. We also have a request from 1P. So we're going to go ahead and to reconsider item 1P so we can continue it for 2 weeks. So we'll go ahead and open the roll on 1P for reconsideration, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right, we'll go ahead and continue at 1P for 2 weeks until February 23rd. Great, thank you very much. Now we're going to turn our attention over to items 8 through 13. So we'll go ahead and turn our attention to items 8 through 13. Those are items for which public hearing has been held. So we've already satisfied public comment on those items. But I'll turn the floor over to Councilmember Cedillo. We'll try it again. We'll turn the floor over to Councilmember Cedillo.
Members, thank you. Members, House LA is a initiative, a bricks and mortar initiative to help address the incredible challenges that confront this city, this state, and this nation with respect to homelessness. The fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, we simply need more housing. It is those pressures, the lack of housing stock, that raises the prices of the current availability of housing. And until we increase housing for all sectors of our society at every level, market rate for new college graduates, for nurses and doctors, for firefighters and police officers, for working men and women, affordable housing for those who work in the sectors of the economy that don't quite pay what's necessary, low-income housing, and housing with wraparound services for the homeless. Until we build housing at every level of every nature, we will not put an end to the homelessness that challenges this city. Every night, 40,000 people are out on the streets. Nobody has to tell us. We hear it repeatedly. There's an increase in housing. And I know personally and intimately, many of the people who are without housing are on the margins, and that affordable housing would be a solution to their challenge. And so we simply have to do all that we can to make sure that we have enough housing in this city. This is not the immediate solution. This is not the mental health solution. This is not the problems of substance abuse solution. This is not the shelter solution. This is the long-term bricks and mortar, changing the face of this city solution that's going to require these changes that we're proposing. These changes come as a result of a discussion that's been going on since I first got here. It's taken place over a couple years. The development of a white paper, a conference last August, and the results of that conference is this initiative that's called House LA. There's half a dozen proposals that are a product of that. I want to thank the CAO and the CLA for their review of this. I want to thank the CAO for considering the entire package as part of his proposal and analysis. And I want to thank my colleagues for their review and consideration of these proposals. We must do all that we can immediately and all that we can with planning for the future to address this issue. And House LA initiative is part of that solution. It is the bricks and mortar. It will change the face of this city. It'll set an example for the rest of the nation. We must and we can do more, and now is the time to do that. Let me make some specifics with respect to each one. And then let me make sure that I say something that's very important, because, you know, we need 100,000 units of housing, and as I indicated, at all levels. But I want to make sure that we consolidate all of these matters and all these files into one, and that's for the purpose of efficiency. There's a complexity to these issues, but we simply need to bring them all into one, because they all work together, and then we can move forward with sub-files for those various committees who find it necessary to review and drill a little deeper on these initiatives. These proposals aren't new, but now is the time for us to look at them. Let me go through each and every single one, Mr. Chair, for a brief second. Item number 8 is relative to the preservation and development of unapproved second detached houses. The fact of the matter is we have throughout the city these granny flats, these secondary dwelling units. We've read in the newspapers stories where people have converted these units. They exist, and it's time for us to acknowledge that reality, bring them online, add them to our stock, make them up to code, and recognize that that is part of our new reality. Item number 9 deals with permitting vehicle sharing and reducing parking requirements, which is a huge burden in our ability to build housing for residential and mixed-use buildings that are located near transit centers and corridors like my district office. Item number 10 is relative to encouraging the construction of micro units. The fact of the matter is, here in California and Los Angeles, this city has grown up with a richness of space. But that's not the reality for the rest of the world, and the fact of the matter is people throughout the world live in much smaller units and then share public space. And so we need to recognize that, and we need to permit that. We should not be prohibiting people from living in smaller micro units. Item number 11 is relative to site plan review ordinance to increase the production of affordable housing in the city of Los Angeles. Hardly anything is more important than this item. Item number 12 is relative to the feasibility of expanding the Department of City Planning's expedited process section to include the review of projects with new environmental impact reports, the EIRs. We simply have to place our resources where they're needed so that we can move this process along. It takes too long, costs too much, it takes too long to build a simple unit of housing in the city, and we need to move beyond that. Finally, item 13 is relative to strategies for using city-owned land as sites for affordable housing developments. We have over 7,500 properties. That is the city of Los Angeles. We have over 7,500 properties for which we should be evaluating their value. We should be evaluating how we can leverage them. And we should be evaluating whether or not these are appropriate properties for which we then can build affordable housing to address the concerns. That is the only way we will put an end to the tent cities, to people sleeping on the streets, to the people roaming in the city, only when we take advantage of our resources, working with the private sector and building the housing that's necessary for each and every resident of this great city. With that, colleagues, I thank you, and I ask for an aye vote. Thank you very much.
We're going to go ahead and go over to Councilmember Huizar.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a good package for us to move forward to continue working on addressing the needs for affordable housing in the city and address homelessness. On some of these items, we waived out of plumb so that we could, at the request of the makers of the motion, so that we could hear them today in council. But some of these items also required additional input from our planning department so that at least we could see all the options before us before we move forward with any particular direction. On item number 9, for example, Mr. Cedillo is correct that parking has been an impediment, or our strict guidelines on how we implement our ordinances with respect to parking prohibits us from building necessary housing. However, there's just one option here, and I would request that instead of asking the city attorney to draft the ordinance, that we have the planning department give us advice on different options available to us. So if it could be a friendly amendment, or we could ask that we strike language asking for the preparation of an ordinance and instead request them to work with the planning department to report back on the options presented before us on item number 9, if that's okay.
Scheduled, definite and certain. Is that correct? March 1st?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
But item number 9, if we could do that as a friendly amendment, strike language asking for preparation of an ordinance and instead request the planning department to report back on options with respect to item 1 on motion number 9.
Okay, on motion number 9, then the motion was made and seconded as a friendly amendment.
Okay, and on items number 10, 11 and 12, we have a date certain for Plum to, again, hear from our planning department on this as a report back so that we could, we wanted to make sure that we move these as quickly as possible, waived out of Plum, but also we have some input from the planning department that they might want to give with respect to item 12 so that we could have those heard in committee or in a date certain early March, if that's okay with, that we're sending them to Plum, to the Plum committee. Item 11 and 12.
Yeah, that's March 1st also, right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so those two amendments were made on 11 and 12 as well, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 9, 11, and 12, and those were seconded by Mr. Cedillo. And so
Thank you.
that'll be the action when we actually vote, unless there are other amendments that come in. Mr. Rue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just really want to thank the leadership, Councilman Cedillo, on this very important matter. We do have a shortage of housing in the city of Los Angeles, especially when it comes to affordable housing. And you know, this is one of the areas, especially it also intersects with homelessness, and this is one of the areas where we have complete control over and that we could work on. And many of these are report backs, and I look forward to the discussion on these very important matters. And actually, Councilman Huizar, I fully agree with what he said. I did have I did want to introduce a friendly amendment on item 9, but I think Councilmember Huizar's amendment supersedes what I was trying to ask. But I am fully in support of especially 1B, permanent supportive housing. But with 1A, I think it would be great to have more input from Plum as well as CLA and everyone else. So, but thank you, Councilman Cedillo, for your leadership on this.
Thank you. Councilmember Bonin.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Mr. Cedillo, I want to rise to thank you. I think you and I have had I don't know if it's a gentleman's agreement or a good working relationship over the past few months as we've discussed homelessness in Los Angeles, where you have focused on the long-term solution, and I've tried to make sure our conversation also focused on the immediate solutions. And I want to thank you for doing that and for bringing forth these proposals. I am particularly eager to see the strategy for using city-owned properties.
Yes.
I hope you don't mind. I'm not going to wait.
Yes.
I'm going to start moving on them immediately. In fact, we just secured a Metro-owned property in my district that will be used for a good deal of affordable housing over the next few years, and I intend over the next few weeks and months to identify a number of city-owned properties in my district that can be used for a number of things, including permanent supportive housing. One of the things that I think is really brilliant about the county strategy that we'll be discussing in a few minutes is that it acknowledged where the county has dropped the ball. It acknowledged that we create homelessness because of people coming out of jails and foster care and hospitals. And I think one of the things that's so strong about our plan, which is mirrored in your 7 proposals here today, is that we've dropped the ball by not providing sufficient housing, affordable and market rate and workforce. And so I look forward to working with you on these, particularly the ones about using our city-owned properties. Because of the price of real estate in my district, I don't think I will ever see another unit of affordable housing built unless we put city property on the table. It's absolutely essential, so thank you for your leadership.
Councilwoman Martinez.
Mr. President, I just want to remind Mr. Cedillo I've circulated a friendly amendment on 13. It's being circulated now, and you signed it. Okay, thanks.
All right, seeing no other speakers on the queue, Mr. Cedillo.
Yes, so just let me thank my colleague, Mr. Bonin. We have split this incredible challenge, and I appreciate all your work on the at the front end of this. And you know, it's amazing. We have, as I said, over 7,500 properties to evaluate and to put in a position for us to determine, each of us individual council members, what is the appropriate use for that property. Add that to the properties owned by LAUSD, add that to the properties owned by the Community College District, and then Metro, and then the County of Los Angeles. Well, this city is essentially landlocked and difficult to find. In government, there's an abundance of properties that should be made available for us to leverage. Mr. Bonin is spot on. It is so expensive to have property in this region. Yet, when you do, you should be able to then leverage that with developers to create the type of housing at every level that we need. And so I look forward to working with you, Mr. Bonin, on that. I think you're setting forth some great pilots for us to look at and to emulate and to model as we move forward in this process. This will not be done overnight. This is the difficult mining work that's necessary for us to move forward, but it must be done, and we must start now. So I thank you. Ms. Martinez, I was happy to embrace your friendly amendments, and so we are prepared to move forward. Mr. Chair.
Great, excellent, thank you. Also, we're going to go ahead and look at then items 8 through 13 and vote on those. In fact, actually, 11 and 12 will just be referred to plumb without objection. That'll be the order. So we'll go ahead and adopt item 8, adopt as amended, item 9, adopt 10, and 13 is amended as well. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. President, but item 13, the amendment has not been circulated yet.
Oh.
But council at this time may vote on item 9 as amended and items 8 and 10 if you like.
Okay, let's go ahead and hold 13 until that's circulated, and we'll move items 8, 9, and 10. 11 and 12 were already referred. So
can we vote on item 9 separately since it's as amended?
as amended, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and open the roll then on item 8 and 10. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right, 9 is adopted or as amended.
I'm on the board. Oh, wait.
So we'll go ahead and.
Thank you.
Let's put Joe back on the board. He's very much here. All right. So on item 9 is amended, we'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right. Has 13 been circulated?
Yes, Mr. President.
All right. We'll go ahead and open the roll as amended, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
15
8
ayes.
through 13 are approved and moved.
It's like amazing grace.
All right. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go ahead and go into items 6, 7, and 14. But yes, we've got a special introduction, a song and a dance by Joe Buscaino.
No, it's a busy day in council. We have a great honor to welcome these chambers the mayor of Dubrovnik in Croatia, Mayor Andrew Vlahusic. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you with open arms, Mr. Mayor. He is brought to us, we're so blessed with the rich history of the Croatian culture in Los Angeles, specifically in San Pedro, the largest Croatian community in the entire greater Los Angeles area, if not all of Southern California. He was escorted here by 2 Croatian San Pedrans who we're proud of, Niko Bumbak and Niko Hazovac, and also joined here by the Croatian Consul General Siniša Grgić. So we welcome you as well. Dubrovnik is known as a pearl of the Adriatics, and we know it as one of the most popular destinations in Europe. And if you're not familiar with Dubrovnik, you may recognize it for its roles as King's Landing on the HBO Games of Thrones. Dubrovnik has also been the backdrop of The Bachelorette, Amazing Race, and will also be the setting for NBC's new series called Emerald City. The beauty of the city is focused around its famous, majestic medieval walls that encircle and have protected Dubrovnik for the past 1,000 years. And the walls are 2 kilometers in length and 80 feet tall. Most recently, the city, which is a UNESCO heritage site, survived the attack of the Serb forces during the Croatia's war with Serbia in the early 1900s. And today, Dubrovnik makes it almost every list, including the New York Times, of the most visited places in the world. And the most popular time to visit Dubrovnik is during its summer festival in July and August, where theater, opera, concerts, and dance on open-air stages are presented throughout the city every warm summer night. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us. We'd like to officially welcome you to the City of Los Angeles. You just had an opportunity to meet with Mayor Garcetti as well. We say in Croatian, dobro došao, and in Dubrovnik, Kenova. Welcome to the City of Los Angeles.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Should we go in the back? Good job.
Mr. Koretz, before we move on, I'd like to recognize you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to acknowledge and introduce a very special guest we have in City Hall today. She's a syndicated columnist for The Nation and The Guardian, a reporter for Rolling Stone, and a nationally and internationally known author who wrote the book This Changes Everything. She's one of the world's most high-profile climate change leaders. So please give a warm welcome to Naomi Klein. And if you'd like to take a minute or two and chat with her, she's only in City Hall for another roughly half an hour. She'll either be back here or at some point we'll go and back so people can catch her for a few minutes if you'd like.
Again, thank you for coming. Now let's take up item 6, and we're going to incorporate a couple of other items in with that, Madam Clerk, and those items are?
Items 7 and 14.
Gotcha. So, although we had an opportunity for public comment during the committee process, this is a very important issue. So I'm going to reopen public comment for 15 minutes, and I may go over to 20, but I do want to, it is important, and I'd like to at least give some of the individuals that are here an opportunity to speak. Now, and Mr. Weezer, Mr. Harris Dawson, do you want to go directly into public comment, or do you want to make statements now, or how would you like to?
Let's entertain public comment now.
Okay.
And then we'll go.
Okay, we'll do a minute each. Let's start off with, I think it's a Stephanie Gamer or Gamer. It looks like first name begins with a Z. Last name is Mann. LaSheryl Porter. Eva Williams. Okay, and we will start with you.
And Mr. President, before they begin, amending motions 6A through I have been circulated.
Okay. Yes.
Good morning. I'm Stephanie Klasky Gamer with LA Family Housing, one of your partners in addressing homelessness and affordable housing, primarily for all of our colleagues on council in the San Fernando Valley. I'm joined by two of my colleagues from LA Family Housing who run one of the most robust rapid rehousing programs that the city has. And I wanted them to come and stand with me because while we are providing crisis housing as well as permanent supportive housing, while we're the lead in the coordinated entry in SPA 2 and use all of the tools you have in this plan, I'm strongly encouraging you to elevate the priority of item 10A, which is fully funding the Affordable Housing Trust Fund so that we have the capital resources needed to build more affordable housing. They can't even use all their rapid rehousing funds because there isn't enough housing stock. So I just appreciate your support, especially in coordination with the county's plan being voted on today, too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and good to see you again. Next, please come forward and identify yourself.
Good morning. I'm Zahira Mann. I'm with United Way of Greater Los Angeles, and I work on Home for Good, which is an initiative to end homelessness that was launched by United Way and the LA Area Chamber of Commerce, and is supported by over 200 partners. We are here in strong support of the city's comprehensive homeless strategy, and we want to start by thanking you for creating a plan that acknowledges and responds to both the affordable housing and the homeless crisis, for the unprecedented level of partnership with LA County on this work, and for the improvements made to the plan based on community feedback. We're excited to move forward towards from planning to implementation, and hope to partner with you in that effort as you look to fund these targeted strategies. Those strategies are targeted enough to fund at the level suggested, which is around 1% of the city's budget would be dedicated to homelessness and 1% for affordable housing. I want to close by just quickly quoting a letter that was submitted on behalf of the Home for Good Business Leaders Task Force, which says, while the challenges are greater than they've ever been, so is this opportunity to establish real solutions that will pay off for years down the line. Thank you.
Okay, can I have the next speaker? Again, and hold her time. We want Eva Williams, Sherry Weaver, and Pete White. Yes.
Hello, I'm LaCheryl Porter. I'm Director of Housing and Resource Management with St. Joseph Center in Venice. We are the lead service provider for Coordinated Entry in SPA 5, as well as for Homeless Family Solution System. And we serve vulnerable, homeless, and low-income families and individuals. And as we all know, finding permanent supportive housing is very difficult, but it's also difficult once you find that housing to have people wait to move in. So we definitely support the updated Section 7.0 to expand emergency shelters to include the interim housing. And we also support 7R to expand the flexible housing program, because both are very important. We strongly urge the Council to pass the plan, as well as urge support for the implementation of ongoing funding that was submitted. And we thank you for this opportunity to provide public feedback and the coordination with the county plan as well.
Thank you very much. If I could have the next speaker.
Hi, good morning. I'm Eva Williams, Director of the Los Angeles office of the Corporation for Supportive Housing. I'm here to advocate for approval of the city's comprehensive homeless strategy. The strategy requires a long-term commitment. Please add strategy 10A and commit to fully funding the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. In addition to allocating $100 million per year in new funding for the Supportive Housing Trust Fund, the lives of tens of thousands of our most vulnerable Angelenos depend on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Identify yourself.
Maureen Chris Halakis. I had submitted a card for item number 6.
Okay, I'll call you. But
okay,
if I didn't call you. So are you Miss Weaver?
I am.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Sherry Weaver. I'm from Harbor Interface Services, and I'm the CES Regional Coordinator for Service Planning Area 8. I want to thank you for taking the steps you are taking today to address the homeless crisis. Since July 2014, we have implemented the Coordinated Entry System in the South Bay. In our first year alone, we were able to permanently house 196 chronically homeless individuals. And in our second year, so far to date, we've placed another 174. We have done this work with limited staffing and housing resources. This work has not been easy, but through strong partnerships, street outreach, and passion, we have begun the work to ending homelessness. While no plan is perfect, the ideas in this plan are a good start and will help us to make an impact on the homeless population. We need to focus on the core issue, which is housing, and move away from managing homelessness from short-term solutions, calling out law enforcement and city sanitation crews. I ask for your partnership today in an effort to pass the proposed plan and funding. It is important that we have partnership in these efforts not only for this year, but also in the future.
Thank you. So if I could get Mr. Pete White, Ruth Swartz, Becky Dennison, and Deidre Harrington. Mr. White.
Pete White with the Los Angeles Community Action Network. So we recognize in this set of recommendations, we call it recommendations and not a plan, a lot of items that the community has been pushing for a long time: permit parking, public health infrastructure. We still see too many references to reports in this item. We say we want you to find a consistent source for permanent supportive affordable housing. We also see the $2.3 million allocation for El Nino as totally insufficient. We believe that El Nino is Los Angeles's Katrina. We believe that with $2.3 million, you will not be able to protect our city from the waves of deindustrialization, from revealing what gentrification has done, from revealing what criminalization continues to do. We say you must highlight criminalization, strip it, make sure it's not a part of the plan. It costs too much money. Let's walk away from that strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. So, yes, identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Ruth Schwartz. I'm the director at Shelter Partnership. I have a letter.
Sergeants, it looks like, hold her time. It looks like she wants to pass something out. They'll come up to you and get it?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, go right ahead.
So I want to thank the council for your leadership and the chairs. I want to thank the CEO and the CLA for all their hard work. And just two items that I want to highlight in my oral conversation. One is 7A, to provide bridge housing. We're especially having a problem with families. We've got HUD has defunded programs, and family shelters and transitional housing are at risk. So when you do the budget, I hope you'll look at that. There's also a motion, I know at least from Councilman Cedillo on that. And the other thing is to consider making 10A a priority, as Stephanie mentioned. We really, if we're going to solve this problem, or if we're going to come close to solving it, we really need a permanent source of financing. We can't do it on the shoestring. You don't have enough money in your general fund, so please consider prioritizing either a bond issue or real estate transfer fee. And I made my time. Thank you.
Thank you. So Becky Dennison, Ms. Harrington, Jerry Jones, Deborah Zielinski. Yes.
Hello, I'm Deirdre Harrington from Good Shepherd Shelter for Battered Women and Children. I would like to thank you for giving more consideration to domestic violence in the development of this homeless strategy. With the unique needs of victims of domestic violence, transitional housing is needed, but the needs of domestic violence victims experiencing homelessness require significant attention to safety concerns, anonymity, and to the particular trauma that they have experienced. Confidentiality for domestic victims also must be considered when designing the coordinated entry system. Thank you.
Please come forward.
Good morning. I'm Becky Dennison with Venice Community Housing. I also want to speak to the priorities that are identified as the supplement to the plan. And I want to be sure that we don't include LAPD as a priority when this council has expressly said they want to stop criminalizing homelessness. So I urge you to put in a policy statement that expresses that you are going to stop criminalized homelessness, and don't give any funds to LAPD or include them as a first responder. Councilmember Cedillo brought it up a couple of meetings ago. We have to go to a different model. Homeless outreach, homeless services, access to services has to happen separate from LAPD, and you have to explicitly say that. And instead, there's just, again, too many priorities that don't include producing new units, and we can't make all of the outreach, rapid rehousing, any of that work unless you're prioritizing funds, substantive funds for new units. So I hope that the priorities will be changed to those two things, and the rest of the plan can move forward behind that. Thank you.
Thank you. So please, Mr. Jones, Ms. Zielinski, and is it a Jason Robinson? Please come forward. Yes, sir.
Hi. I'm Jerry Jones with the Inner City Law Center. I've had the pleasure to meet with some of you over the last couple of months with delegations of providers of homeless services who have worked on this plan, and the outcome, along with the very hard work of Miguel Santana and his team, has been to produce a comprehensive homelessness strategy. So I urge you all to vote for it. We need to move forward. And this is, I think, one of those moments in elected office where good politics align with good public policy and doing the right thing for people who are in need. The people of Los Angeles want to see homelessness dealt with, and this is an important first step in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Deborah Zielinski. I'm 47 years old, and I've been in permanent housing employment in San Fernando Valley for 3 years. I first became homeless at the age of 17, right after having my first daughter. I was homeless and bouncing between treatment centers and jail on the streets 30 years because of untreated mental illness. When I wasn't in the streets, I was in abusive relationships. Supportive housing was necessary for my recovery. It's not easy to stop using drugs and get help with mental illness in the streets. Without housing, I never would have had the chance to heal or the ability to address my mental illness. I wish it could have happened a lot sooner, but I'm grateful it happened at all. Now I advocate with CSH, Corporations for Supportive Housing, and help others to tell their story to educate the community. Thank you so much for the effort you've put into creating a real plan to fight homelessness. Please consider using individuals with backgrounds in homelessness to be a part of your policy, making decisions, and please continue to partner with the county and the rest of our community. There are so many more like me that can be given back their hope. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I could have next. And then I want Nisha Vyas, Anne-Sophie Morissette, Aaron Jimenez. Yes, sir.
I'm Jason Robinson with SHARE, and our collaborative housing program is a shared housing program across Los Angeles. I want to commend everybody who's worked on the report for embracing a comprehensive strategy that includes multiple approaches, and emphasize that in item 7P, in looking at shared housing, that we particularly look at ways to use existing housing resources and landlords that makes using their properties available for shared housing. I also want to say that when we look at the shelter crisis and when we're talking about shelters, having the city find a way to create parameters so that when we identify people in a shelter that have income through SSI, we also find a way for them to be able to use their SSI to afford housing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please, identify yourself.
Good morning, Nisha Vyas with Public Counsel. I just want to express our appreciation to the hard work of the Homelessness and Poverty Committee and the city staff and officials who have all participated in creating this plan, which responds to both the affordable housing crisis and the homelessness crisis. It also incorporates in a very real way community feedback. I do encourage the council to pass this plan and continue to engage with the community, with service providers, housing providers, and the population of persons experiencing homelessness. We also encourage the council to turn to finding the permanent source of funding for creating the units that are going to be necessary to house persons who are experiencing homelessness and to deal with the affordable housing crisis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, council members. I'm Anne-Sophie Morissette with the Downtown Women's Center. And I'm here today to say that we're thrilled that the city is putting forward together such a comprehensive plan. And most importantly, has recognized homeless women in a dedicated strategy. We want to thank you for addressing the domestic violence and other forms of trauma as a key factor in homelessness for women. And we know that the challenge now lies in the implementation and the full funding of the plan. You can count on us to be vocal and supportive of the resources needed, including, as some of my colleagues have mentioned, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. This year, Downtown Women's Center is launching a national campaign on women's homelessness. And we are very proud of our city today. We think that this is a remarkable strategy that focuses on homeless women. We believe LA is placed to make a national impact and provide an example for cities across the country that women's homelessness can and must be addressed. We're looking forward to continuing to work with you, and we thank you all.